Gods, goddesses, titans among us, the overseers from up above in heaven, the gods of Mount Olympus that are thrust upon this world, some destroyers, some heroic. Though these mighty titans choose to protect us in the world, they are known only as the Justice League of America, and all these titans are mighty and super in their own ways. But there comes a time where even those, yes, gods must die. Greetings, geeks and nerds from the universe and white nerdy, and the death of Superman is one of the most critically acclaimed Superman runs ever created. As of course, Superman had to die for only one nefarious purpose and reason: an increase in sales. At the time, Superman was one of the lowest selling comic books in the DC publishing line, losing to Teen Titans and of course Batman. So thus, they decided to make an idea to kill off the Man of Steel, and it was an idea that worked. And certainly, you have seen the Death of Superman arc if you are a fan of Bruce Timm, and you have seen Superman Doomsday, which, yes, does deserve a review as well, too. Well, we're going to be sticking with the Best of DC movies line that I took a look at for all that I took a look at for Batman the Killing Joke, Suicide Squad, Hell to Pay, and the Wonder Woman movie. So, this is an adaptation that should be just as decent as those, right? Well, there's a part of me that'd like to say yes, but unfortunately it's in the middle, but we'll come back to that. Anyways, let's dive into the DC 52 version of the Death of Superman and see if this is really worthy of, well, being called one of the best DC animated films. So, let's get into it. In the DC universe, Superman has been active for quite some time, pretty much long. But in the case of this new 52, he probably had been active for at least a couple of years now. And since it's Superman's early career, he still hasn't told the love of his life, Lois Lane, who he really is, despite the fact at the point that Superman is already in a relationship with Lois, so thus he already has her in his hands. But unfortunately, he doesn't want to expose the truth to her, despite the fact that we find out later on in the scene with the Justice League, Superman actually intends to marry Lois, but he's on the fence of doing so in order to protect her.
This is. This is. What? This is boring. Delete.
Now listen, man, I do love Superman. He's one of my all-time favorite superheroes right after Spider-Man, and I love him and Lois together as they really seem like that one power couple. But here's the thing. Superman wanting to marry Lois had nothing to do with the fact of should she know his deepest, darkest secret. It had nothing to really do with the fact of can he protect her. It had to do with the fact, mostly, that he knew that he could trust her to hold this secret. Lois is the reporter first, and of course, if she gets the biggest scoop on a story, there's a possibility that she's going to tell the world. Likewise, he has to know if he can trust her with the biggest secret. Now, if you're thinking that this movie would have done something much like Superman and Lois, which handled it perfectly, mind you, of how Clark's emotion kind of got in the way before he told Lois that, he really wanted to marry her, that he loved her and everything, then that's great. This movie fucked it, and I don't know how it managed to do so, because it did have a perfect moment where he left her one last little secret, which I'm not going to spoil because it's really adorable. But he keeps flip-flopping the entire movie on the subject, should I or shouldn't I marry Lois, which becomes so mind-boggling. It's like, dude, either you're going to marry the woman or you're not going to marry the woman. I know that some guys sometimes have the same reaction where they have conflicting emotions of should I marry her, should I not marry her, or should I marry him, should I not marry him kind of scenario. And the thing is, it's great that they're trying to make Superman human. It's just that the fact that this is the woman he wants to spend his life with. The woman that he chooses to marry. Although, wait. You know who he goes to for relationship advice? Do you know the one superhero or superheroine that he goes to a relationship with Bites? If you're thinking Wally because Wally's gonna marry Iris, nope. If you're thinking Batman, nope. Maybe like one of the Green Lanterns? Aquaman? No. He goes to his ex-girlfriend. Clark literally go to Wonder Woman and ask her to continuously if it's a good idea for him to marry Lois, especially since he dated her first. I mean, seriously, dude, you couldn't ask anybody else for relationship advice? You had to go to your ex-girlfriend? Cut me a fucking break, man. Though I must admit, I love Jerry O'Connell's performance as the Man of Steel in this movie, as he does one hell of an amazing job that I could not ask him for. As Jerry does his absolute best to give us a Clark Kent that we can relate to, and that is a huge accomplishment for the guy. He really sold me as a really good Superman. Alright, there's no news beating it around the bush going through this review without mentioning him. Let's talk about Doomsday in this movie and how I feel about his performance in this movie. See, in this version of the movie, Doomsday actually comes from Apocalypse. I'm not even kidding, Doomsday comes from motherfucking Apocalypse. In the comics, Doomsday was a monster from Krypton. He was created by scientists to be the ultimate killing machine, and in some variations, Doomsday is created by Superman's longtime nemesis. Goddamn Lex Luthor sometimes creates a being known as Doomsday, but yet he can't control him when he goes after and decides to kill the Man of Tomorrow. Despite the dumb idea, I do have to give the movie credit for trying to have the Justice League take down the big bad long before they called in the big man himself. As it was awesome for every Justice League member to have a little moment in the sun and try to take down this big baddie, even though he was way too powerful for all of them. And that no matter what the Justice League did, they could not defeat this big giant threat, so they had to leave it up to the man himself, Superman. But even in saying so, Superman still had problems himself trying to take down the big bad known as Doomsday, which of course and unfortunately he couldn't do. But this man had a city to save and to protect. As for Superman, Metropolis is his true greatest strength, and the moment that really sold me on this movie is this one. People forget that Superman represents a lot of things. The American person, while the American people, hope, truth, and justice in the American way. And in that little shining moment that this series decided to give, or this movie decided to give us, the viewers, is the most magical moment that you could not repeat or even ask for. The moment when Superman stopped what he was doing, tried to do anything he could to incapacitate Doomsday, right in that moment where he decided to save that boy from being crushed to death, that was Superman. As he wanted no reward, nothing in return, he did what he knew what was right, and protecting that child for the people of Metropolis is what he was good at. Because as I said in my Superman vs. the Elite video, Metropolis represents Superman's greatest strength. The people of Metropolis represents his greatest soul. For Superman, he truly recalled on his strength, his heart, and his soul on the people of Metropolis. And without them, well, there wouldn't be a Superman. As it was this magical little moment that really made us go, that is Superman, and then he flies right back into action to try to take down Doomsday before he caused more havoc. But unfortunately, there must come a time when gods must die or fall before us. And so in this moment, Superman knew he had to do one thing in order to stop Doomsday. He had to go fucking beast mode and stop Doomsday by breaking the motherfucker's neck! Holy shit! But Superman proved himself worthy of Lois's love, proved himself worthy to protect Metropolis. He finally became the hero he wanted to be. As a city, a country, the entire world was split right apart. Everyone mourned the loss of the Man of Steel, wondering if and when he'd ever return.
Superman died when a washed up old roughneck like me goes on living. It ain't right, go.
But the Man of Steel broke out of his own grave, and also, mysteriously enough, they see a figure floating in front of the statue of Superman that was left behind when he passed away. As yes, this movie is gonna lead into the rise of the Superman, which of course everybody probably has already seen coming. Anyways, that was the Death of Superman, and did I enjoy it? Well, that's a hard thing to say, because I did, but I honestly wish it was better. Maybe explaining more about Doomsday and giving him more of a backstory. Really giving us, why Superman really wants to marry Lois. Is there some sort of end goal to him? I'm not saying that the big guy can't be happy, but there has to be more to why he really wants to marry her, truthfully. And also, the probably last one that really is known for, could we have gotten a better reason why he kept flip flopping around on telling Lois the truth? I mean, she could have deserved the truth. I mean, he was already dating her to begin with. Even if he married her, she was gonna find out his secret eventually. So I'm just saying. That's a Superman is a pretty good adaptation for the New 52, but it really could have been better. Unfortunately, it doesn't feel like it all connects. It really mostly feels like it's just together. Mostly feels like it's in pieces, rather than being an all conjoined movie. And it's pretty sad to see. That's a Superman, if you can ever find it, is a really damn good Superman run that everybody would basically pretty much say it's one of the best Superman runs ever made. And yes, if you're wondering, this leads into the rise of the Superman arc that ended up happening in the comic, hopefully without Superman splitting off into two different personalities. Yeah, that was kind of a thing that happened, wasn't it? Although I think that Death of Superman was pretty decent, but not entirely the best the best DC animated movie I've seen, especially for Superman, but Jerry O'Connell's voice, the animation is nice, and also it does have some big epic moments, so it's pretty damn decent altogether, it's just I wish it'd been better. If this movie could have fixed its problems, yeah, it would have easily been one of my favorite movies of this year, especially animated wise. But honestly, it really isn't. Oh no, Death of Superman was a pretty decent movie with some pretty decent moments and pretty decent action, but it still falls short for me at least what it was supposed to basically do and represent. Maybe it's because I was spoiled growing up watching the Super Friends what they did a Death of Superman arc and watching the awesome Superman Doomsday movie, which was supposed to be the end of Superman the animated series, by the way. But yeah, Death of Superman feels in the middle and kind of mediocre, so to speak. Like I said, it kind of feels stitched together. That's why my Funko Pop rating of the Death of Superman from the Best of DC Animated Movies list, or DVD pack that I got, is gonna get a Bride of Frankenstein. And that's easy to say because it does honestly feel stitched together. It picks different moments, impactful moments, and also some stupid moments, and tries to put them together and hopefully make a movie that worked. It sort of worked, but probably not the way that they intended. So, the Death of Superman gets the Bride of Frankenstein Funko Pop rating. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon to be notified every single time I can upload. Have a good day about Nerdy Kirby on. And we know what you thought about the Death of Superman in the comments down below, the new 52 remake or rehash of it. Let me know what your favorite adaptation of the Death of Superman is in the comments down below. I'd love to hear it. I personally like Superman Doomsday, but that's just me. So thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure to do all the YouTube things, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, hitting that bell icon to be notified every single time I upload, and follow me at Twitter with the link in the description down below. Although, come to think of it, it's kind of weird that I used the horror-themed Funko Pop, which I haven't done in a long time. Almost like there's something around the corner, around the bend, but I can't. I. Ah! soon, very soon, soon it will be our time to shine. It will be very soon, my fellow horror hounds, my geeks and my ghouls and goblins. Very, very soon. But first, we must get through his bullshit. But don't worry, I will soon return on 091925. I'll see you then. Ah! Oh god! That was a headache. Whew. Why are you looking at me like that? I'm fine. I'm gonna go relax or do something. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to leave it right now to keep it on. And until next time, guys, and as always, take care.